All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. My name is James. I'm your mindful moderator with MZZ for Life Coaching Solutions. And we're here with another experiential interview, the Experiential Vibe for your day with Jean. And applause. And Jean, you're my second cousin, right? Is it second? My mom.
I guess because I'm mom first.
Right. So Jean is my second cousin. She is of the true vine, I say. She's one of my grandmother's siblings' children. And so she's from the original vine. And she is here today to participate in an experiential interview with me about the life category of family. And so we're not going to keep you guys waiting. We're going to go ahead and get into the interview. And so, Jean, I always start out talking about how I met the person that I'm interviewing with, right? And so I'm glad I'm finally able to get to have this conversation with you virtually about how you saved me from a water birth, from coming into the world in the toilet, basically. And so is this true? And give me your version of the story.
You know, honestly, I don't even remember. Your mom remembers, and she told me about it. I just know that all labor is not in the stomach. Some of it's in the back, and some of it is in other areas. So my labor was in the back, so I didn't think I was in labor, but I was. And when your mom described to me what was happening with her, I said, girl, you're in labor. You need to get off that toilet.
And so had you had a child?
Yeah, I had Debbie.
Oh, so Debbie, all right. So Debbie was born. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So Debbie's a little bit older than me. Okay. Yeah. All right. And so the next question is, like, it seems like families were so much closer in the 70s. And so I'm wondering, like, are families as interwoven or as close today as they were then? What do you know?
I don't think so. I think back then there was less distractions, less electronic distractions, just less distractions, period. We all didn't have cars at a young age, and we just had each other. So the cousins and the family got together a lot in backyards and over family's house, and cousins played with cousins a lot. Yeah. That was one of my concerns when I relocated from Milwaukee to Washington. I was afraid I was going to lose that closeness with my family, and I did.
And that's just one of the things too, like we have relatives like all over the United States, but it seems like we always found a way to come together again through the reunions. But what are some of the warm memories that you have about the 70s and family life in the 70s?
Well, in the 70s, your Aunt Donna and I were really close. Mm-hmm. And she got me in a lot of trouble because she liked to have a running buddy. She didn't like to go anywhere by herself, so it was me. And we went to a lot of places together. I went to my first bar, my first nightclub, saw my first band, had my first drink, all that kind of stuff with your cousin, with your auntie. And when she wasn't around, then I end up having given birth and having Debbie, and went in my own direction.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I don't know. That might be another interview I have to have, with someone else. But just like the introduction to recreational substance use, right? It usually comes through a family member, sadly. But I don't know. That just seems like a fact of life, a fact of human experience. Okay, so I don't know, and I take pride in being a child of the 70s. I think the 70s were really, really cool. It was just a lot of love in the 70s, it felt like. life was warmer, people were warmer, you know. So, all right. I guess that's what makes a family reunion so important. I, take pride in the fact that I feel like our family, or rather our elders, were like one of the first to initiate the importance of family reunions into family life, into African American culture, anyway. And so it kind of also highlights the importance of social media to me, because social media is like a daily family reunion, like where you get to check in, with family members. So is there anything in particular you miss about our family reunions?
I used to miss, I don't miss it as much, but I used to miss the family reunion. This one family reunion, the picnics and the 3-day reunions.
Mm,
I missed that. That was I didn't realize how important it was until it was I didn't have it. But yeah, that was really important, and I wish our kids, our grandkids, and our great grand nieces and nephews had that growing up.
mm. And now, like, there are just so many of us. Like, we'll get to that question later, but just like your descendants alone, it's a lot of y'all.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And so I think the important part of, like, one of the most important parts of the family reunions I remember and that I now value, I used to think it was a hassle back then, but how we were basically taught to introduce ourselves, right? You are the child of XYZ, who is
Right,
a daughter of XYZ. And,
right, right,
but that helps you to get to know, like, who you are, right? You
right, right. I
and
see.
take
I see
value.
us. Yeah, I see us doing that on Facebook when we befriend a new swan, or on my dad's side, a new Austin. I'm the daughter of such and such, and granddaughter of such and such.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good though. Like, I mean, it has its it has its place and its level of importance. So,
Right.
all right. So you talked a little bit about my loving aunt and her capacity to get you into trouble, into mischief. But I just think about, like, when it comes to her, like how big my world is. There are a lot of places that they say, quote unquote, African American people shouldn't go to, or aren't supposed to, or shouldn't be in. But I don't mind going to, primarily because of her. Like, there was a
Right.
side of town that she frequented, where Black people really didn't frequent. But, I don't have any fears about being in a place where I'm the only, Black person, right? Um, so
Right. She in Milwaukee. She introduced me to pretty much the East Side. When
yeah,
she used to sing at Sardinos,
yeah,
and not many Black people would go or live on the East Side back then.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that was her side of town. Okay, so switching streams a little bit, we're talking about the life category of family. I know one of the ways that you and your immediate family kind of keep together is you guys camp.
We do.
Yeah, so how did you, and we're talking about like things that Black people don't do, right? One of the
I
things,
know.
right? So
I know.
how were you introduced to camping?
Actually, my daughter introduced me to it. She was a camper first, and I thought about it, and I thought maybe I'd join her camping. And my first time camping, I went there with my fingernails and my jewelry, and but later on, I realized I didn't need all that stuff at camp. But from the single individual camping trip, we ended up uh, inviting others and others and others. So the single sites was just not didn't work for our group. So we ended up getting a group site,
Okay.
and then with the group site, we could have as many as 40 people to 80, and sometimes one time we even had 86 people come camping. We call it a friends and family. So it's not just all family. Friends of friends, friends of family members could come and join us too. It's open for everybody. But yeah, Black people do camp.
Yeah, yeah. The first time I saw a picture of you guys, I was like, Whoa, it's a lot of them.
Yeah, yeah. We like to take a group picture every now and then just to recall and remember it and show people that Black people actually do camp, and people sometimes call it our family reunion. And I guess in a way it kind of is. We'll be going camping again this summer.
Okay.
Um, we haven't camped since 2019. One reason was because of the virus. So it's time to get back in there and camp again.
Mhm. Yeah. So we're gonna put a shameless plug out there for any camping companies that would like to sponsor the Walston 2023 summer camping trip. Uh, they are open open to contributions. You said that
Uncle Fred said he would come, but he hasn't come yet. And I know he's not going to camp in a tent. He'll probably find a hotel real close by if he does come.
yeah, I would like to come too. Me and my mom.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great experience. Your cousin Roy, he drives down from Milwaukee almost every year to camp.
Really?
And cousin Ramon drives from California. So, and Pam has flown down. Chantel has been here with her family. So we do have people from out of state coming.
Wow. Wow. I didn't know all of them came. So how long of a drive is that from Milwaukee to Seattle?
The way Roy does it is 24 hours, but it's actually like a 3-day drive.
Oh, you said he makes it there in 24 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So are there any memorable camping experiences that you like to share? I guess you talked about one. You said when you first went, you came with your nails and stuff on.
Yeah. When you camp, you learn what you need for the next trip. So my thing with camping is that I have to make it comfortable and enjoyable. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it again. So you want to make sure you have a large enough tent. You want to be able to stand up in your tent and not have to crouch over. You want to make sure that you have a comfortable bed, and my bed has to be off the ground because I can't get up off the ground. So you want to know what you need. You know what you need so that every year you add this to your inventory and this to your inventory, so that every trip is as pleasurable as it possibly can be.
Gene, it's so amazing talking to one of the original Swans, because when you just like looked, I saw Aunt Dottie and I saw Uncle Bob, like expression. So that is so amazing. Okay. And so just to get people a little bit more comfortable with the assessment and diagnosis piece, I think that's one of the things that scares people away from anything when it comes to personal development or like life coaching or even like counseling. People don't want it. Nobody wants to be assessed, right?
Right.
So you did complete the assessment. So thank you for that. So the assessment has 11 different life categories.
Yeah.
And one of the life categories, actually the life category that we're covering next month in June, is recreation and fun. So even though you have this pretty, you're pretty committed to this camping excursion every year, you scored a 2 in recreation. I was wondering why you scored so low in the area of recreation.
Well, because that's all I can afford to do. I don't do anything else.
Okay.
I wish I could kind of adjust this camera. I wish I could afford to go on trips. I wish I could afford to go to Martha's Vineyard. I wish I could afford to do some of the other things that I want to do, but I can't. So I have to make a choice of, because we're on limited income too. What can I afford to do? And so camping is something I've made myself afford to do.
Okay. So Angel Network, Cousin G, these some assistance, some travel vouchers. We're gonna put that out to the ethernet and see. Never know, it could become available.
You never know. Never know.
Yeah. All right. So, Jen, give us a rundown of your immediate family tree. Like how many children, grandchildren, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews?
I have there was 8 of us, and I'm the oldest. I had two sisters and 5 brothers. I also had a third sister on my dad's side, but these
Okay.
are my mom's siblings, my mom's kids. I had 2 sisters and 5 brothers. Um, 3 of my brothers passed away, Roy, Doug, and Hal. They're gone. So Jerry
Mhm.
and Anthony's left. Jerry's in Milwaukee. Anthony's in California. My sister Pam's in Milwaukee, and my sister Joy is out here. I have one daughter, Debbie, and 2 grandsons, Avery and Cannon. Cannon's 23, Avery's 25, and so many nieces and nephews I can't even count. Grandnieces and nephews I can't even count.
So,
Great grands, a couple of great grands too.
so you have a total of 7 siblings with one
Mhm.
child by your dad? Okay.
Eight with 1 child by my dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, and so you, Debbie is the only child?
Hmm.
I did not
Yeah.
know.
One and done.
Is that what it does?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know why it seems like it's so many more of you guys, but I guess it's your, nieces and nephews that I'm thinking about when it comes to, how big I think your immediate family is. And I didn't realize that you were next in line to be the matriarch.
Yeah, that's what Uncle Fred told me.
Yeah, how did that feel getting that information?
Unreal.
I mean, that's a lot. Like, that's a huge responsibility, but I think
Yeah.
you can handle it. I think you got it. So
I'm not sure I'm worthy of it. I'm next in line by age.
So when you think about like what you've learned from other elders, like what do you think is the most important thing? Or because the next question is about the life category you feel like is of importance to your immediate family. But when you think about like what you've learned from other elders, what do you definitely feel like you would like to be responsible for passing down to the next generation?
So for sure, I'm not. Uncle Fred is a family historian. That's what I call him because he's always on Facebook or whenever. He's always telling a story about our ancestors. So whenever I see anything like that on Facebook, I forward it onto my grandnieces and great grandnieces and nephews to let them know so they can read it, so they can know, so they can be knowledgeable. I think a lot of it is that we weren't family historians, so they grew up not knowing everything that like you would know or older cousins would know about our family. And our family is rich in history.
Yeah, and we take pride in it too. And I just think about like it was never anything that I really wanted to listen to. Like I could just remember people, gathering at whenever everybody came in town, they would gather at the, whoever house we were at, and they would gather at the table and they would be having these lengthy discussions about history, and it was like time would stand still. Like everybody would stop talking and people would listen. And so,
Right.
yeah, that's a good one, I guess, the importance of history, right?
It really is because it gets
Mhm.
lost if it's not known. I remember. And I just the other day I saw something and Agnes had posted on Facebook about grandma's brother. He was in a service and she called him Uncle Son. And I didn't know about him. And I'm 72 years old and I just found out about Uncle Son.
Mm.
Did
Mm.
you know of him?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So still learning.
Yeah. Well, no, he's not. He's not alive, but he was a hero in the Johnson family.
Okay.
He was in the service.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, and like even like with a lot of families, like how with it being Memorial Day weekend, that's when this is being recorded. Um,
Right.
yeah, like the role that our ancestors played, or our elders played in the military. That's an important part in the fabric in the making of America, right? And so
Right.
I don't know, we don't hear like a whole lot of stories about different, family members' experiences in the military.
We don't hear about their experiences, but Uncle Bear makes sure it's known which siblings were in the service.
Served in the military. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so are there any? So like when you think about what you pass down, like is there a particular child, niece, nephew that like if they get it, then they will be responsible with passing it down to someone else? Like when you think about the history.
And I think my nephew Doug would be responsible enough to teach his children. He doesn't have any yet, but I think he would be responsible enough to pass it down to his nieces and nephews. Anything that he's picked up over the years. I think I'm thinking my nephew Tyrone would too. Tyrone is really into family, so I think he would pass down any knowledge that he has of his ancestors.
All right, so switching topics here a little bit. So can we talk a little bit about what you do for your 9 to 5? You don't have to mention the name of the company.
I manage apartments. I've been in this industry for 22 years. I currently manage 312 apartments in South Seattle. There is a tax credit community, so what that means is affordable housing. It's not low income, but it is. The rents are lower than most places, and that's just to help people who income qualify get clean and affordable housing. So I manage 312. I normally have about 9 people working under me. Currently, I'm really short-handed, so it's a struggle. But it's a good business. I enjoy it most of the time. And I've been with the people that I've been with, my owners, I've been with them since 2007. So I'm not sure how much longer I'll be doing this, but I do enjoy it. And of course, this will be my last job.
Yeah. So you said you've been doing it for 22 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so like you said, the staff you have currently you're kind of shorthanded. Is that because of COVID?
Because of a lot of things. It's because I think it started around COVID, and we lost a lot of people, and we just haven't been able to hire. We're actively recruiting. We're just not able to hire. The demand is high for maintenance people out there, and we're just not able to find the right candidates.
So is the cost of living expensive out there?
It's incredible.
Yeah.
The average house out here is now over 700,000. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. They said if you put 20% down, that would be 140,000. Your payments will still be about $3,000 a month for 30 years. That's a lot. This prices the average person out of the market. Yeah, two bedroom apartment here is about 2,200. One bedroom is about 1,900. Studios are 1,500, if not more. So yeah, the housing is not quite as bad as California, but it's incredibly high. Very expensive to live out here. Gas the other day, saw gas at $5.60 a gallon. And my husband says it's a shame when $10 won't even give you two gallons of gas.
It is. It's bad. I just wonder what they expected people to do, because everybody can't be a billionaire or a millionaire.
They've got to build more affordable housing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I guess people could go in with somebody to buy a house, but you shouldn't have to do that. Or go in with somebody to rent an apartment, but you shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to afford to live on your own without having to have a roommate or having to have somebody to purchase a home with you.
Yeah, and it's challenging here in Phoenix too. I am, I've had my experience with it. It's yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, okay. So going back to the life categories, business and business is one of them, and you scored an 8 in business. So working in property management, so yeah, and with the scores, like they go from 1 to 10. So for anybody who's trying to understand what we're talking about, you can score yourself on in regard to your satisfaction with a particular life category from 1 to 10, or it might even be 0 to 10. But you scored an 8 in business. So that does that mean you're good with money?
No, it's just I'm good at what I do.
Okay. All right. So what is the most important part of like property management? Like what do you think is like,
I have to make sure that the apartments are clean, the repairs are made.
hmm,
I have to make sure that rents are paid and rents are paid on time. I have to make sure that we're a tax credit community. So we're overseen by the state of Washington. And being a tax credit community, there's certain income requirements it takes to get into apartment. And every year I have to recertify our residents. So not only do we have 312 apartments, we have to recertify 312 apartments on an annual basis to stay compliant. Um, there's a lot of work, a lot to be done. We lost a lot of money with COVID because people lost a lot of jobs and lost their income. And during that time, there was mandates going on, so we couldn't evict anybody either because they couldn't pay rent. We were stuck. We were stuck with them. And the state did come and bail a lot of the landlords out. It wasn't a 100% bailout. It was more like a 70% bailout. But between my two properties, we were over half a million dollars. No, $500 million behind in rent. And the state,
billion?
the, yeah, we were over half a billion dollars behind in rents
Whoa.
because it added up month after month after month, year after year, and you couldn't evict.
Mhm.
Some residents were owing 18, 19, $20,000 in back rent.
Wow.
The state did bail them out, but the landlord had to suffer losses from it. They had to do some write-offs. So it was, like I said, it wasn't 100% bailout for the owners at that time. Even now, it's just not a good time to be a landlord or a property owner because a lot of people aren't paying rents like they should.
Still.
And
Even
yeah, still,
mhm.
the state bailed our people out twice. They bailed them out in 2000, and then they bailed them out again in 2001. And now people are still falling back into that same old category of not paying rent on time or not paying rent at all. Yeah, and there's no more bailout. There's no more bailouts.
Right. So, brother, probably there's no money left, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to the next question. Your scores were high in the areas of family and business too. You scored 8 for both of those life categories. So what were you thinking about, like, as you like, what made you score yourself so high in those areas? Like when you went through and you thought about it, like what made you say it's an 8?
I don't know what I was thinking. I don't recall, but I
Mm-hmm.
do know that family is really important to me, and I try to help if I can. I try to help my family as much as I possibly can, if possible. So sometimes it's not always possible, but if I have an extra TV set and somebody's moving into the first apartment and need a TV set, I'll give them a TV set. I'll buy them pots and
Right.
pans or dishes or towels or sheets and stuff. I've done that. So I try to help as much as I possibly can. If somebody loses their job, if I have $100 or two to give them, I will.
Yeah, that's one of the areas that we're looking to move into with this particular initiative. It's really designed to be of assistance to people who are recovering from alcohol and drugs and are moving into different recovery communities and who need that initial like support, like to get their IDs and stuff like that. So that's it's helpful. You know, when you talk about tiles and silverware and you know sometimes it's you need assistance just getting started, right, with the process of stability. So
Sometimes you do, and there should be more support groups for people that have substance abuse.
yeah,
It's hard to find sometimes, especially if that person doesn't have any insurance.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so next question. You scored a 5 in finance. Is there any particular reason why you scored like middle of the scoring up?
I get my nest spend money. I can't save my life.
Yeah,
I live from paycheck to paycheck, but my rent is paid. My car is full of gas. I got food in my refrigerator. My bills are paid.
right, right, right. You're good, and that's why you need that vacation, right? We need that
Yeah,
vacation.
yeah.
All right. So you did score low in a couple areas of concern. All right. You scored low in the area of health and spiritualities. Why? You scored twos in those areas. Why twos and not fives?
I have no idea. I don't remember the questions, but I know that my health. I have health concerns. I just had a knee replacement, and my knee is still bothering me
Mm,
after 7 months. So I've got high blood pressure, and I can afford to lose a few pounds. Um, and then my husband, we grew up in church. You know that we grew up in your granddad's church. We grew up in church all the time. Went to church all the time, singing in choirs and this and that, and Sunday school and everything. So I don't go to church as much as I should go to church. That's probably why I scored myself a 2. Not that I don't have faith. I just don't actively go to church. Now I do attend a Zoom church, but I don't go to church. My husband gets up every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, goes to church. He just got back. He's religious about going to church. He does it, and he drives a lot of miles to go to church too. And I was telling him, I said, Thomas, you pass a whole bunch of good churches to go to Tabernacle. But he's been a member of Tabernacle for over 30 years, and he likes that church. So he drives all those miles to go and pass this good church and that good church and that good church to get to that church. But no, he goes to church every single Sunday. He cooks for the church picnic, and he'll feed the hungry. Now, since COVID, they haven't been feeding the hungry like they used to. And since COVID, the church picnic has been suspended too. And I'm sure he misses those activities.
so he drives all those miles because that's where he feels comfortable, right?
That's his church.
Yeah. Oh, so the next question, okay, so is there anything that particular that needs to happen in order to bring those twos up a little bit higher? Now, I know you have resources, especially when it comes to health. Like you got some nephews that are deep in the health game. So what's the
I know. So to bring my score up, I need to walk a little bit more because my legs, I need to walk a little bit more. And I have got dogs, they're getting fat. So they need to walk. They like to walk, they enjoy it. So I need to get out there and walk a little bit more, and walking more will improve my overall health.
Yep, and it's a way to, wind down from a rough day's work, right?
Walking helps. I enjoy walking, but so I can't walk as far as I would like to walk because of my knee and because of my back, those areas. And I try to get my husband to walk with me, but he has oh, it's raining outside, can't walk. Oh, my back hurts, I can't walk. So he has all kinds of excuses why not to walk.
Right.
He walked with me yesterday though. That was nice. In
Yeah.
the rain.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I guess, making, setting a goal, right? And having these discussions is a form of motivation. And so hopefully you can refriend your nephew.
I'm thinking about it, but I'm not going to be lectured to.
Just,
We can't agree on. We don't agree on plant-based fitness. It's
okay.
fine for him, but don't. You can't sell me on what's working for you. You can't.
Right.
You can't do that. I'm 72 years old. Let me be me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like somebody that's all of a sudden got religion, and they want you to be religious as they are. You
Mm-hmm.
can't do that to people. So something you can't have a person believe in your political view. You can't do that.
Right.
Some people believe in the vaccination. He doesn't. I do. You know, different strokes for different folks. Because you don't believe in a vaccination, don't don't bash me because I do. I'm not going to be bashed. So just things like that. And yeah, one day I will unfriend him, refriend him, but I'm not going to be lectured to.
Yeah.
That's has to be the stipulation. We have to agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm. Uh, Gene, you are a good looking 72. I want to tell you that.
Thank you.
And you it seemed like you recovered from that. It seemed like that went by really quickly. I remember you telling me you were having the surgery. I don't know how I found out about your knee, but it seemed like you're doing good with the recovery process.
I am. I still have problems with this knee. I
Mm-hmm.
hear from other people that the recovery, knee replacement is a tough surgery, and it is. I had a hip replacement in 2012. That was a breeze. But this knee, I guess because it bears a lot of your weight,
Mm-hmm.
um, is a harder recovery. And then
Mm-hmm.
this is my driving knee too. The knee I used to drive, the leg I used to drive with too.
Oh
So
wow, yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and your aunt will tell you about the replacement, how hard of recoveries they are. Some they can be crippling sometimes. But you have to exercise and you got to do your physical therapy and you got to do what you need to do to be mobile. That's why I like to walk. I wasn't feeling like walking yesterday in the rain either, but I got out there and walked in the rain just because I felt I needed to do that for my leg.
Yeah.
You
So,
look just like your mom.
yeah, that's until you see my dad. You were like, my goodness, you're a good remix of both of them. But that's just the amazing part about like genetics. It's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah. So okay. So moving on to the next question. Okay. So you scored fours in the area of personal growth and self-image. I think we've kind of covered these areas as you talk about
Just 1 minute. 1 minute.
facilitating. Okay. So you scored fours in the area of personal growth and self-image. So but I think we talked about all of this as you talked about, how you're recovering from the surgeries. But what were your thoughts when you looked over those areas? What's your description of personal growth and self-image?
I'm not really sure exactly why I scored that because it was a while why I scored myself that. It was a while when I took the quiz, so I'm not remembering all the questions
Right. What
were
you
asked
score?
that were asked of me. So
Yeah.
personal growth, I probably would like to see myself a little bit further along financially
Oh,
because I want to retire, and right now I can't afford to. So one of these days I want to figure it out so that I can afford to retire and just stay home. And then again, I don't want to just stay home and twiddle my thumbs either. I that's not for me. My husband, he's retired, and times when I have a 3 or 4 day weekend, I see what he does all day, and that's nothing. And I'm not trying to do nothing all day. So I don't know. I sure would like to be able to retire comfortably and maybe still have some type of small business or something where I could still help people out and do something and be active and not be a slug.
I always think about Cicely Tyson, and she talks about making butt prints, right? You don't want to have a sedentary
Uh-uh.
retirement experience.
No, I don't. I don't. I mean, I like watching Judge Judy too, but that's not how I want to spend my day.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah.
So we're coming to the end of the interview, wrapping up your questions. We're going to do a major shift, but I just wanted to hear about your experiences during 2020, like with all the craziness that went on in Seattle. Like, what was that like for you?
2020 was in March 2020, right before COVID got really serious. My husband had a stroke. So I remember I told you he goes to church a lot. He gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get ready for church.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, church doesn't start till like 9, but he likes to get an early start. So he gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get ready for church. But he realizes that he he couldn't hold a coffee cup. His hands were shaking and was spilling coffee, and he didn't understand what was going on. He went to look at the mirror. In the mirror, his smile was crooked. So he called out to me, and he was sounding like he had marbles in his mouth. He said, "Baby, baby, something wrong, something wrong." And so I could tell by the way he was talking that something was indeed wrong. And I said, "Thomas, you're having a stroke." So I called 911 immediately. So they came. Seemed like they took hours to come, but they must have came in less than 20 minutes, I'm guessing, and took him to the hospital where he was diagnosed with having a stroke. So then COVID hit really bad here in Washington State. So that was my main experience with COVID. Um, I didn't stop going to work because they deemed my job as essential because I provide housing for people. So I did stay home and took care of Thomas for a while. Once he was recovered, I went to work and I never stopped working even through the pandemic. So COVID was interesting because everybody was on guard. Everybody, the people that believed in it and people that didn't want to get it, practiced social distancing, wore masks. I think I must have a zillion masks at that time. I bought masks from everybody, cloth masks, all kinds of masks. Then it, then it turned out cloth masks weren't as good as the KN95s and surgical masks. But I've got masks. I got all kinds of cloth masks, KN95, surgical. I have all kinds of masks, and I still do. I still wear my mask out and about because COVID is still there. It hasn't gone anywhere. Um, my best friend came in contact with it, but she's been vaccinated, so her symptoms are really low. Another friend of mine, a coworker of mine, has it. She's been out of work for 2 weeks. So COVID is still there. So you still have to be vigilant and practice sanitizing and safe distancing and wearing your mask and get vaccinated. Some people don't believe it. My nephew didn't believe it. He didn't believe in any of it. And he ended up with COVID. His whole family got it. Um, I don't know if that made a believer out of him or not, but what do you think about it? Are you vaccinated?
Yeah, I went the whole route. Like I just think about how like hyper vigilant I was, and I was a little bit paranoid about it. I lost a roommate, not to COVID, but because he didn't think it was real and he wasn't practicing precautions, I made the decision to have him move out.
Oh, yeah.
So he had to go. So yeah, I wasn't playing with. I didn't know, and even still today, you just don't know, like
Yeah.
And so recent experiences I've had, like going out, like you can go into the mall or go into the grocery store, and you won't see anybody with a mask on.
No, they're not wearing them now.
Yeah,
They, they think it's safe. It's not safe.
yeah, yeah.
It's not safe. You can't be too careful.
No, no, no.
Yeah. But when my nephew he told me, he said healthy people that eat healthy and put healthy stuff in their bodies don't get sick. I said, no, healthy people get sick. Healthy people could get cancer. Healthy people could get a virus. Healthy people can't get sick. So that was a big argument that we had. And I just think that, even be healthy and do healthy things, eat healthy things, but practice healthy ways too to prevent from being sick, like get
Right.
vaccinated.
Right.
I believe in it. I get vaccinated. I get flu shots too. I get shingle shots. Some people don't believe in it. I do.
Yeah. Anything to reduce the severity,
Yeah,
of the illness or, of the sickness. If I do get it, preventative measures, I think that's what they're called, right?
exactly.
Yeah, I'm off.
You don't want to get sick. You don't want to get sick of something you could have prevented yourself from catching in the first place.
Right.
You know. So even the healthiest of a person who might catch COVID, a lot of healthy people have caught COVID and passed away. So many people, kids, so many people passed away, gym instructors, and a lot of healthy people that otherwise healthy caught COVID and died from it.
Mm-hmm.
COVID doesn't discriminate. So I know it's a lot of, as not as many people are dying now as were before, and that's a good thing. But people are still getting sick from it. People are still losing their job from it. People are still losing time off of work from it. Yeah.
Yeah, last number I heard of daily deaths was 300 people dying a day. That's a lot still.
That's still too many. That's still too many. It wasn't 300. It wasn't 300 before 2020, so that's still too many.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I did know one person who passed away from it. He caught it. He didn't want to go to the hospital. He thought it would be okay, and they found him dead in his apartment.
I don't know. It's been a great discussion, Gene. I'm really glad that we were able to get this interview done. I want to thank you for taking the time out to talk to me today. Closing, ending the interview, I always check with people to see how they're doing emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. Feeling okay?
Oh yeah, I feel fine. I'm good. I'm I'm really okay. Um, my grandson, he's causing me concerns. Remember, we were talking about substance abuse.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't do drugs or anything like that, but he's an alcoholic, and he's in need of prayer.
Well, I am always here. You got my number. If you need to call me, that is recovery is my area of interest. That's probably something I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. So I'm
Okay.
for you if you need me.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. So, hey, you guys, we're going to end this interview today. Just to let you guys know, this interview was brought to you by MZZ for Life Coaching Solutions, where we strive to provide a values-driven experiential approach to life coaching. And if you're interested in setting up an interview with me in one of the 11 life categories, please inbox me, DM me. On Instagram, YouTube, we're on all the platforms. And so, Gene, again, thank you. I love you. And see you soon. Talk to you soon.
Hope to see you soon. Take care.
All right.
Hope to come out there and visit you.
Yeah, I want to come camping.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Happy
Bye-bye.
Memorial Day. All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.